Hello and welcome back to my FPL channel. I am FPL D Unit and today you're here for team selection and final thoughts. Final plugs. I can tell you that I am one very happy man today because David Moyes did everything that I asked of him. He delivered the easy win. He delivered some table bonus for me, and he is the top scoring manager after game week 24. Without further ado, let's jump into it. Make sure you smash a like on the video for me, please. I've got a brand new template for you as well, and if you haven't already subscribed, please think about doing so as well. Let's go. What better place to start than with David Moyes? Yes, I have to do this. I did say that if he did it, I'll give him a full rendition. So here you are, David Moyes. Love you. Come on, David Moyes. Play like Fergie's boys. And we'll go wild, wild, wild. And we'll go wild, wild, wild. And I tell you, when I woke up this morning and I literally turned on the game, I actually thought it started an hour later, and I was watching that injury time when that ball went in and that Tarkowski hit it, however you want to say his name, and it smashed into the net. I didn't even care that I had Trent and Allison in my team and they were going to lose a point because of that goal. I was like, get in. I was like, a fan like every other club in the league. 19 clubs all at once rejoiced when Liverpool conceded and then they imploded. Jones got himself sent off. Arne Slot got himself sent off. So did the assistant manager. What's not to love? Everyone that backed in the 0.5 million rated Moyes, 22 points. The best pound for pound player, manager in the game after this week. Absolutely fantastic. Arne Slot did exactly as I predicted, stunk it up. He could not get it. He could not win every one of those 4 games. I outlined the stats and I said, all he needs to do is drop one of these games and he's going to lose out to the other manager. And look, David Moyes was definitely the pick. There were lots of managers who got table bonus this week. David Moyes racked up 8 points from the table bonus. He was absolutely fantastic. He was the play. So anyone that questioned, anyone that doubted, and yes, there were a couple of people that commented on my preview video, I hope you can go back in your box now. David Moyes won out pretty damn easily in the end against Arne Slot. But without all that being said, we do have to pay homage to the people that weren't on assistant manager this week and actually played their triple captain instead on Mo Salah. This man delivered 29 points, 3 goals, 1 assist, 6 bonus points from an expected goal involvement of only 2.51. What an insane week to triple captain Mo Salah. He was absolutely fantastic. If you played your triple captain, and originally my plan was to play it as well, just the double-double just was too enticing in terms of like the assistant manager. So for me, it just didn't make too much sense. And look, at the moment, Moyes only lost out by 7 points, right? Like later in the season, there will be a double game week potentially for Man City if they make it through to the semi-finals of the FA Cup, where one Erling Haaland or even a Phil Foden might be able to be a really good triple captain. Or we have Isaac, who's probably about 90% chance to at least have one double game week. He potentially is about a 50% plus chance of having 2 double game weeks between now and the end of the season. And one of them, if in that scenario, would actually involve playing Ipswich. So just because you didn't miss out on the 29 points doesn't mean that a triple captain later on in the season will get like less points. That's what I'm trying to say here. Double game weeks, I think, have just proven that any fool that played their triple captain earlier in the season, you're probably kicking yourself because you didn't get anywhere near 29 points. The biggest score of the season was in a double game week, and it goes figures. It's always been the case. It was always made most sense to play your triple captain during a double game week. On to my final thoughts. So, loading up on Villa assets is definitely not essential. All right, I don't actually have any in my team except the manager. And I'm quite happy with that. I was exactly the same with Everton. Look, lots of Everton assets actually popped off over this game week. One Beto, FYI, absolutely tore it up. 3 goals for about 4.9 million. What a player he was. I just don't think they're essential. I don't think the double is that good for Villa in terms of like points. And it's hard to predict who's going to start in those 4 positions. with all the new signings. And I can't see them keeping clean sheets, so it's hard to recommend any defensive players either. But we can tell you that Emery's definitely the pick of the managers this week. You have to be targeting the table bonus. I think that is one thing that everyone hopefully has learned from the first game week where you can play the assistant manager. Table bonus is king. All you need is a draw, and all of a sudden it absolutely smashes you against the manager that doesn't have it. That's what we've learned from the David Moyes versus Arnie Slot. We also saw wins for Wolves and others, Fulham, where they actually got table bonus and ended up with 18, 19, 20 points. All really, the table bonus is where it's at. If you want a really good shout, after last night's result, West Ham actually can get table bonus against Brentford this weekend, which is insane. And I actually think that that's a really good shout. As a one-off week without a double, I actually think West Ham under Graham Potter, really strong chance of actually getting a win there. Especially at home as well. I just really like that one. Brighton obviously entertained Chelsea and they beat them in the FA Cup at home. That also has table bonus on offer for Herzler. And Silva and Fulham, probably the harder one of the three, I think, have got obviously Nottingham Forest come to them. And I dare say after their debacle in the FA Cup, they're going to be hard to beat, I would suggest, on the weekend. That's just my personal opinion. Now, one thing that is proving really problematic this week is benching headaches across the forward eight are extremely tough. With a number of great fixtures, I have the same problem in my team. We're going to talk you through it in a little bit. It's hard to pick who to start, who to bench. I'm going to go through them, hopefully provide a little bit of context as well. In terms of best defenders to buy this week, it's 1 Kirkes, 2 Hodgson. You could swap them if you haven't got the money. 3 Munoz, 4 Luca Dean, 5 Disasi, or Diarcy, however you say his name. And number 6 is Timber. I still think Timber's the best option into the Arsenal defence. He is the cheapest one and he plays every week. Yes, his yellow cards are starting to get a little bit concerning, but I just can't recommend paying an extra mil pretty much to buy in a Gabriel. Just doesn't add up for me. I'd rather spend the money on my midfield and forward line. Best midfielders in terms to buy, it is 1 Semenyo. It's not where I went, but I still think he is actually the best just because of the fact he is nailed on for minutes, literally 90 minutes every week. 2 is Kluivert, 3 Dango, 4 Rogers, 5 Mbeumo, 6 1 Jared Bowen. You need to keep an eye on him. West Ham are starting to come in form. He's back in as well, and I really think he is talismanic for that club. And if Graham Potter gets on a roll, I think Jared Bowen's going to be in a lot of people's teams. 7 Trossard, 8 Gibbs White, 9 Marlon, and 10. If you want a sneaky punt, you could go on Marcus Rashford. I just don't think he's going to start both games. I probably think he's going to start against Ipswich. I wouldn't be surprised if he scored a brace against Ipswich. Just shouting it out that early. Best forwards to buy. Most people already have 3 Liverpool players. But if you're clever and you have Slot, you'll probably move him on to a table bonus. Probably, it actually makes a lot of sense to actually get rid of him for Emery if you've got the transfers and bring in a Gapco instead if you haven't got him in your forward lines. I really like that move. I think there'll be a lot of people moving off Slot after last night. 2, Wissa. 3, Mateta. 4, Beto. He's gone up the rankings. I mean, 4.9 million, you score 3 goals in a game week. He's literally scored as many goals as Dominic Calvert-Lewin had scored all season long. That's just ridiculous. 5, it's Cunha this week. He's definitely going to be rising up next week. And number 6, it is Raul. So without further ado, let's check out how I actually went in double game week 24. So I ended up with a big 119 points. Yes, I've crashed through the 100-point barrier for the first time this season on the back of my assistant manager, 1 David Moyes, delivering in clutch of me 22 points. Saved me from a big red arrow. Originally, before that goal went in right at the death, I dropped about 10, 11,000 spots and I was about 21, 22,000, something like that. But David Moyes turned it around, brought it back, and it's been a very small red arrow instead. I got Alisson Becker. By the way, Alisson Becker and Trent Alexander-Arnold actually matched what Gapco produced over these 2 weeks, which is what I said. He had the easiest team before they played, like Ipswich, right? I said the 2 teams they're playing are significantly harder to play against. Turns out I was correct. So Alisson Becker and Trent, even though Trent only played a portion of the second half in the Everton game, 7 and 10 points, pretty happy with that. Hall was the disappointing one there with only 1 point in that disappointing result for Newcastle against Fulham at home. Milenkovic finally got me his first clean sheet in my team. Pretty happy there with 6 points. In the midfield, this is where I stuffed it up. I should never have made the last minute move to play Ahmad over Chris Wood, but Ahmad got 2 and Mbeumo got 2, Bruno Fernandes got 1 and Cole Palmer got 6. He finally got an assist and some sort of a return. And then Up front, it was Isaac with 2 points and Wissa with 2 points. Again, lots of blanks there, but Mo Salah delivered as the captain, 29 points, doubled to 58. That and Moyes and Becker pretty much made my game week. I was pretty happy with that. Look, if I'd actually played, and obviously, unfortunately, this is one of them weeks where I left 22 points on the bench. Chris Wood, 17, Robinson, 4, 1 Kirkes. I would love to have had Robinson playing over Hall and Wood over Ahmad. That would have given me 136 points, so 137 points. I would have been inside the top 5K. It is one of those things. The reasoning behind it at the time, particularly the Wood one, was definitely flawed, and it's one I wish I could have back again. I just sort of panicked, and I felt like I watched Man United in the Europa League that night, and I just forget that Europa League's such bad quality this season. So, yeah. On to my transfer moves for Game Week 25. So the first transfer, and I've made 2 transfers here. I only had the 1 free transfer, and I'm taking a -4 in order to make it happen. But Ahmad had to go. One of my Man United players had to go. Even though their run of fixtures coming up is really good, and potentially I could have held him, I just think that I needed someone from the Bournemouth midfield because their run is just insane. All the way through to like Game Week 34, 35. Bournemouth just look incredible. You have to have one of them. My idea was that I've already got 4 penalty takers, keeping Bruno on my team and moving Ahmad out. I just wanted a 5th one. That way it's just more routes to points. If there's a controversial decision, a penalty given and Kluivert's on the field, it's a chance at an easy almost 8 or 9 points from that penalty, and then he'd probably get a couple of bonus to go with it and the appearance points. So for me, it made a lot of sense just to go for Kluivert. I had the money, so it wasn't an issue between like which one could I afford or whatever. For others, Dango Ouattara is brilliant, 5.1 mil. Semenyo, I think, is up to 5.7 now. They're all really good options. You could even rock 2 of them. Like, there's a part of me that thinks that if Bruno doesn't start delivering, he could be going for Semenyo. 100% or Ouattara moving forward, and then potentially I can move for Erling Haaland up front around Game Week 29. So that's definitely my line of thinking in terms of that. My second move was obviously getting rid of David Moyes. Now, 22 points, 1 and done. The man is a legend. He will live long in the FPL D unit team. The fact he managed United and the fact that he brought pain to Liverpool fans is definitely added to my love of one David Moyes. But he has been moved out. And the obvious pick was Emery. Like the same reasoning I picked Moyes over Slot. You got the what should be the banker fixture at home, and then you've got the harder fixture also at home with the chance of the table bonus. Look, Emery, the pressure's on, mate. Moyes got 22 points. Can you deliver me 22 points? I certainly hope so, and that's what we'll be looking at moving forward. Now, on to the benching headaches in my team. Hopefully this helps your team out as well. So, my 4 players that I'm looking at benching: Wissa, Wood, Fernandes, and Kluivert. I can't believe I'm thinking about benching Kluivert. Look, if I hadn't actually made the transfer, it would have been a very easy benching decision. Ahmad would have been benched. That would have been the end of it. However, I just feel like, I don't know. I'm really not sure about who I'm going to bench. At the moment, it's very tight. And it could be any one of 3. I think it's really between Wissa, Wood, and Bruno. I've just put in Kluivert there because of the fact that he did start on the bench in the FA Cup on the weekend. And that kind of concerned me a little bit. But look, Kluivert's XG, 0.5 on expected goals, 0.1 on expected assists. With the Southampton fixture, makes me think he just is a no-brainer. You play him, you hope for the best, you hope Bournemouth score a lot of goals, Southampton concede a lot. Wissa then comes in at the next best XG. So 0.6 expected goals, 0.07 expected assists. He has been racking up the XG numbers the last couple of weeks without racking up the goals. Unfortunately, it's now 2 goals in 9 games. Not ideal moving forward. In terms of Chris Wood, it's 0.48 expected goals per 90, 0.02 expected assists. And I can guarantee that if he gets 0.48 against Fulham, he's scoring. So like that, and I can't, after he scored 17 points, I can't just leave him on the bench again. Like, part of me is like, oh, I just risk it. Like, he's not going to get another hat-trick. But like, it's hard to take him on. His effective ownership is so big that I think that it's really got to be between Bruno Fernandes and Wissa. They're the 2 least owned players in my team. And Bruno's obviously got Tottenham. That game could be 4-4. It could be 1-0 Tottenham. It could be 1-0 Man United. At 0, but his numbers are also really good. 0.37 expected goals, 0.21 expected assists. This is a massive headache. I need your help. Let me know in the comments who would you bench out of those 4 particular players. Now, in terms of the defense, This one is slightly easier, you would think. So Man City away should be a hard fixture for Newcastle. Like, Man City is scoring goals. However, they could be having their minds elsewhere on potentially having to overturn that first leg result in their Champions League playoff of Real Madrid. And they could potentially bench and play a bunch of kids here, which would then make the fixture a lot easier for Hall. And potentially there could be a chance for him to get some sort of an attacking return, potentially even keep a clean sheet. However, the fixture on paper doesn't make sense to play Hall. Like, he is the one that I'm most concerned about. I only have to play one of these three. And then it's Milinkovic versus Robinson. Like, the numbers combined are 0.16 expected goal involvement combined for Robinson, 0.15 expected combined for Milinkovic. Milinkovic has got more chance of scoring a goal. Robinson's got 10 assists for the season. I still expect Forest to win this game. I don't expect Fulham to win it, which is why I think that I'm leaning towards playing Milinkovic. But again, this is a really tough call. So let me know in the comments, which one would you bench? Which one would you play? So which one would you play in the defence? Which one would you bench in the midfield forward spots? Now, moving on to my actual team selection for double game week 25. What does it look like? So, Alisson Becker starts in goal. Again, he's got the Wolves at home fixture, the Aston Villa away fixture. Plenty of points there, hopefully on offer. At least 4 points would be nice. Realistically, I'm just hoping that Liverpool lose both games. Like, it makes no sense because obviously I've got Alisson Becker in my team and he's my goalkeeper, and we'll get into my defence in a second. Because of the fact I've got Unai Emery coming in as my assistant manager, I want them to do well, which means that Becker will have to concede. And it was like that with Moyes, but it worked out really well in the end. So I'm just hoping it'll be the same. In terms of the defence, this is how I've got it at the moment. And as I said, let me know in the comments if I have got this wrong, if you think I've got it wrong. Kirkes obviously starts at Southampton. He's been on bench the last few weeks, but he definitely returns here. I'm hoping for a clean sheet there. Wolves and Aston Villa. Obviously, Trent did come off the bench, but I'm expecting that he'll be fine for the weekend. I mean, he looked pretty fine when he came on, so I can't imagine there being too many issues. And they need his attacking potential in that team, so I'm expecting him to come straight back in. So he's not a move for me. I think he was definitely a hold, and you just play him. Milinkovic is starting at the moment over Robinson and Hall that are on my bench. I'm not sure why Isaac is written next to Hall there. It's just a typo and it really just threw me off. So you have to bear with me with that. But that is Hall. I'm not benching Isaac, I promise you that much. But yeah, at the moment, let me know if I've got that one right. In terms of the midfield, I've gone with a midfield 4. So you can see here that Bruno Fernandes is on my bench. I just can't trust the way Man United are playing. Yes, I'm wearing a Man United top. Yes, they are my team. But the way they play, I just can't see them scoring multiple goals against Tottenham, even though Tottenham concede lots of goals. I just don't know. Like, they've just been poor. Yes, they've had a week to prepare, which is the only thing that's going through my head. They've had a week to prepare. The last time they did that, they did really well against Liverpool. The way Spurs play might actually benefit United as well. So that is also at the back of my mind. So, like, this is why I'm saying, like, it's so hard to work out who to bench this week. Palmer's obviously got Brighton away. Salah obviously is my captain yet again. Wolves at home, Aston Villa away. The last time he played both of those teams, he got pretty decent points in both of those games. So it could be another really good week to triple captain if you haven't already played it on him. And it'll be the last time to do it in a double game week that involves one Mo Salah. Brian Mbeumo obviously has West Ham away. That looks really good as well on paper. I mean, he's on penalties as well. So look, there's a lot to love there. In terms of the forward line, it is Isaac. Like, some people have been talking about selling Isaac and benching him. You don't bench Isaac, man. He's too good to be benching. And Man City, as I said, will probably be more focused on that Champions League later in next week. There's every chance that they switch off and Isaac has an absolute field day here. So for me, I really like that. Wood does come back into the team. This might be a case of points chasing my bench. And it might be that this week Wood blanks and Bruno Fernandes pops off. And then obviously Wissa starts as well against West Ham away. Now, I could just play Bruno instead of Wissa, and that would give me 7 penalty takers in my front 7 starting on my team. Like, that's why I think it is between Bruno and Wissa. But, like, realistically, I bought Wissa for these fixtures. He's due a goal, 2 and 9. It could be a bit like Jackson potentially, but I'm just hoping that he does pop off. I'm just hoping that Bruno does it. My best Valentine's Day gift this week would be my bench not absolutely destroying the players that I picked to play in my actual starting team. And then obviously my assistant manager this week is one Unai Emery. I'm very excited about that. The potential of this assistant manager chip to get me 50 plus points at the moment is well on. Like, with 22 from the first week, Unai Emery this week, if he can get anywhere between anywhere between 15 and 20 points, it'll be another amazing week with the assistant manager chip. So I am hoping for another result against Liverpool. I just feel like potentially it can be there. Aston Villa are one of those teams that play really well at home. They don't lose many games at home, and they'll be well up for the challenge of Liverpool. That's the kind of game where they're going to do really well, I think. So for me, I'm pretty confident in Aston Villa, hopefully getting me another result, which, that's what the assistant managership is there for. It's about having fun, and that is what FPL is all about. Yes, you want to finish as high up as you can, but it is playing Unai Emery over Arne Slot is just fun. Like, it's fun to play. Yes, it's a lot more risk. Less of the chances of him winning and getting those table bonus points are significantly reduced, but that's the idea of the chip, right? To have a little bit of fun with it, chase a little bit of rank, and if it does work, it's going to shoot me up into like the top 5k. So I'm quite excited about that. So, let me know what you think in the comments. Have I got the benching decisions right? I really don't know. Good luck in double game week 25. Hopefully you are on your assistant manager chip. And look, if you've got it on Arnie Slot, unlucky. But you should have tuned in the deadline stream last week or 2 weeks ago when I suggested that potentially that wasn't the right play. I just wanted to put it out there one more time. Thank you, one David Moyes. You're an absolute star. 22 points as assistant manager. I backed in the Evertonian Blues in the last derby at Goodison Park, and they did not disappoint. So well done to them. Good luck in double game week 25. Leave any comments you got in there. I'll see you tomorrow for a deadline stream, potentially final decisions, but I'm not sure. Just depends on what happens and on what I've got planned tomorrow night. Before you go, also please smash a like and think about subscribing as well. That's been the D Unit.